What if the very discomfort that you've been trying to escape is God actually trying to redirect your path? What if God has been using this season to shift you toward the business He's been placing on your heart? Hi, I'm Alberta, a life coach helping Christian moms who feel called to more beyond motherhood but keep delaying because of self-doubt and fear build profitable businesses that are aligned with their calling and family life. And today, I want to walk you through 5 signs that God may be redirecting your path. Let's get into it. Sign number 1, God starts separating you from your environment. Before God can take you into the next level of your life, He first has to pull you away from environments that keep you stuck, that delay your growth, or that are preventing you from becoming who He wants you to become. In Genesis 12:1, God said to Abraham, "Get out of your country, your family, and your father's house to a land that I will show you." So before God could fulfill His promise over Abraham's life, He first had to take him away from his family, his culture, his environment, and everything he had always known. Joshua 24:2 tells us that Abraham's family served other gods, which means they were idol worshippers. And therefore, for God to bless him, for God to fulfill the calling on his life, He first had to separate him from that environment into a place that He was calling him to. And once Abraham stepped into that obedience, everything changed. From Abraham came Isaac, then Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, and Jesus Himself. All of this happened because Abraham obeyed. He was willing to leave what was familiar and go to the place where God was sending him to. So God can start making you feel uncomfortable in places that used to feel normal, simply because they no longer support the person He is calling you to be. And it could be your workplace, a community, a city, or a social circle. And just remember, something bad doesn't always have to happen. It might just be that the environment that was right for your last season is the very thing limiting you into the next one. Sign number 2, God starts separating you from certain people. And this one can be really hard because we were created for community. So God may not move you from a place, but from people. Friendships, relationships, people that used to feel close to you suddenly feel distant. You don't get as many calls as you used to. You get less invitations, and sometimes you even find yourself overthinking what to say in conversations. This can feel really painful, almost like rejection, abandonment, but God is really creating room for you to hear Him clearly. Many of us are so busy being available for everyone, always answering calls, always helping, carrying everyone else. And that's the reason why God will allow certain relationships to fade away, just so He can get our full attention, because He knows that we cannot enter the next season distracted by noise, by pressure, and by other people's expectations. Jesus' disciples are a great example here. They had their own lives, their own identities. Some were married, they were fishermen, a tax collector. They were people that already had a path, a direction that they were following. But Jesus said, "Leave everything, follow me." And they just up and left. They left everything behind them just so they could listen and hear the Master clearly. Sign number 3, increasing discomfort where you are. Sometimes we assume that if something feels off, or if something is very difficult, we need to press on, we need to push harder, pray harder, persevere, stay committed. And sometimes that is true, but other times it is not. That discomfort is not a sign that you are meant to stay, but a sign that something feels off. Increasing discomfort could look like you having a great relationship with your boss, colleagues who respect you, and a job that you are good at. And suddenly everything starts to feel off. You start making mistakes that you never used to. Your boss becomes critical of the work that used to be celebrated. You dread going into work in the morning, and the environment that used to energize you starts to exhaust you. And you keep wondering what changed. It was God. God allowed the discomfort in a place that you had become way too comfortable staying. Before his encounter on the road of Damascus with Jesus, Paul was by every standard successful. He was intelligent, respected, passionate about his job, and probably sure he was on the right path. Until that day when Jesus blinded him and asked him why he was persecuting him. And from there on, Paul changed his path. He became one of the most influential voices in the church, and today we have so many letters that we read from him. Sign number 4, what used to satisfy you no longer does. There was a time I used to spend hours watching series. It was my thing. That was my way of relaxing after a long day at work. work. And then one day, I completely lost interest. I cannot even exactly explain what happened, but I recall the Lord taking me through a period of fasting. And when I came out of it, what used to satisfy me no longer did. At first, I didn't know what to make of it. But looking back now, I know that the Lord was teaching me to spend more time on things that would advance my calling. And this can happen in so many areas of our lives. For some people, it's social media. They love scrolling, posting, checking Instagram, and then suddenly it feels depressing. For certain people, it's conversations they looked forward to. Some friends might have a Sunday call, a Saturday call, an evening call on a Thursday when they all connect and just have great conversations. But then comes a time where those conversations feel so surface level. It might even be certain habits around your food, fitness, and the time you spend with God. Lately, you might feel like God is pulling you towards taking better care of your body, exercising, eating more healthily, spending more time with Him because of what He's preparing for you. So if recently your spirit has started craving for something deeper, that might be God shifting you towards your calling, towards the business that He's placed on your heart, the ministry He wants you to steward, or people He wants you to impact. And finally, sign number 5, repeated nudges or God speaking to us through multiple sources. In busy seasons or difficult moments when we're overwhelmed, distracted, or exhausted, God often reaches us through patterns or confirmations. Maybe every time you open the Bible lately, you keep landing on the same theme over and over again, or you hear the same message from different pastors or different people over the same week. A mentor, a friend, or even a stranger could all bring up the one thing you've been praying for. Or maybe someone you follow online posts something that speaks directly into a situation that you never told anyone about. I once heard of a woman who was praying to God about traveling to a specific country to minister. Within 2 days, she saw the name of that country in multiple and unrelated places. Number one, it was in a banner, like on a street banner. Secondly, she saw it on a license plate. I can't really remember what the third one was, but she went, and that trip became the major turning point in her ministry. One thing though, we must be careful about refusing to move without endless confirmation, but we should be attentive to the patterns that God is putting before us. So stay grounded in scripture, stay prayerful, but also pay attention, because God is speaking much more than we realize. And here's your practical step for this week. Keep a notebook or a note on your phone, and every time something catches your attention this particular week, whether a sermon, a verse, a conversation, a thought that keeps repeating itself, or write it down. Then at the end of the week, spend some quiet time with God, going over everything that you wrote. You may start noticing patterns that you didn't before. And if you're serious about finally launching a side business that you are excited about, one that actually brings income into your home without requiring so many more hours from you as a busy mom, I would truly love to support you. Most moms don't need more information. They need a simple plan, clear direction, and someone walking with them step by step so this actually gets done. This month, I am opening a small number of one-to-one spots inside my 90-day success story experience. A beta round where you will receive very close guidance from me as we help you clarify your idea, build a simple offer, confidently put it out in the world, and begin attracting your first clients. The goal here is simple. You walk away with a real side business that is launched, aligned with your life, and positioned to start bringing in income. And because this is an early round, I am offering a significant beta discount plus flexible options, because I care much more about helping the right women get started than creating financial pressure. So if there's even a small part of you thinking, maybe this is my time, I invite you to book a free connection call below. No pressure. This is just a real conversation to see where you are, what you feel called to build, and what it could look like to turn your God-given idea into a profitable business over the next 90 days. I would truly love to meet you, hear your vision, and support you in bringing this into life. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.